Excavation Profits Podcast by Excavation Marketing Pros. Interviews with successful excavation and septic business owners, revealing how they market and grow their business in today's economy. Hear directly from the most successful leaders in your business and discover what they're doing to keep their phone ringing, equipment running, and businesses booming. Now your host, Scott Andreessen.
Well, hey, what's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how to choose the right marketing agency for your excavation or septic business, even if it's not Excavation Marketing Pros. Okay, this is going to be a very unbiased, what should you be looking for? What sort of questions should you be asking to make sure that this marketing agency is the right fit for you? Okay. First things first is, do you really even need a marketing agency? Or are you looking for a revenue growth partner? So there's a couple different ways to look at it. Are you looking for a provider that you can, kind of tell them what to do and they do it? Or are you looking for someone that has expertise in your specific niche that's helping you to grow revenue? So those are two different things. What I'm going to do is share my screen and kind of go over some of this, of what I would do if I were you, to make sure that you're choosing the right fit for you in your business. Okay. So this is for excavation and septic contractors. If you are in another type of niche, then this probably is not going to be too helpful for you. But it should work well if you're actually in the niche. And bear with me one moment. I'm just actually pulling up the slides. All right, found them. Now let's do this. As you can tell, this is not scripted. It's not how we do things here. All right, I think we're good to go. So this is for excavation, septic, drainage, land clearing, site prep. What I would want if I were you in your position is actually qualified calls that turn into book jobs, not vanity metrics. And so examples would be, they send you reports of impressions, clicks, maybe ranking positions for these like long tail keywords that no one searches but them. Those would be like considered vanity metrics. Now, most contractors do not hire the wrong agency because they're dumb. That's not how it works. Usually it's because they just didn't ask the right questions up front. And so this is what I'm hoping you will get out of this little training here. So you need more of the right calls for your business. And I would first maybe take a step back and ask yourself, what are my top 3 money-making services? Don't just give an agency the full gambit of, hey, we do, 10 to 15 different site prep services, have at it. To really make something work, start off small, perhaps with your top 3 money-making services, and focus on what you want. You want to get the right calls for septic, maybe perhaps installs, repairs, drain fields, grading, excavation, which is pretty general. So you may want to even niche that down a little bit of what kind of excavation. Do you want excavation? Do you want perhaps access roads, road construction? Do you want pond construction? Do you want retaining walls? A bad agency will typically sell you activities. So they will sell you something like, we're doing these activities such as optimizing your website. A good agency sells you a path to profitable jobs. So what that means is focusing just on the metrics that matter. The ones that seem to move the needle is the number of quality leads. How many of those leads turned into booked appointments, which could be perhaps a consultation call? How many of those consultations turned into actual site visits? How many of those site visits turned into actual quotes or proposals? And how many of those turned into jobs? So really, like what, 4 things? That's about it. Do not hire based on a list of services would be my recommendation. You might feel you need a website, and so you might ask, do you guys do web design? Do you guys do search engine optimization? And those are parts of the pieces of the puzzle to hopefully get you what you want, which is more booked jobs. So make it more about, can you get me booked jobs? That should be the focus of the conversation. It's kind of like hiring an operator for your business because they say, yes, I also move dirt. I can move dirt for you. That's what I can do. So for an agency, can they grade the plan? Can they read your market? Can they avoid expensive mistakes? Can they get profitable jobs? Start with your numbers, not their services. So a conversation flow that I would recommend would be, before you even get on the phone with anyone, is know your average job value. What is the minimum viable job it's worth your time going out for? Don't base it on your most extreme job that you want, $200,000, $300,000, $500,000 jobs. You need to maybe focus on the average ticket of, okay, by and large, my average site prep job is going to be 20 to 30,000, or my average install is going to be around 20 grand. And then know your gross profit per job, because that is the number, that gross profit per job, that you actually have to work with. If your gross profit per job is very thin, then you might not be able to afford good marketing to begin with, because there's just not enough meat on the bone to buy another customer. So typically, you want to be looking at a gross profit in the range on upwards of around 50%. Know your close rate. Now, if you're mostly word of mouth, if that's how you get your clients, then your close rate is going to be inflated because you're getting that lead from a colleague, a friend, a family member. And so, of course, they vouched for you. You're going to have a close rate on upwards of 90%. But with paid growth, with marketing your business, those are cold traffic style leads. And so you should be more conservative in your close rate of maybe around 25, 30%. And if you have, say, stellar 5-star reviews in the double digits or triple digits, then perhaps you could bump that up to the 40 to 50% range, because people are seeing that coming in. They're seeing that proof you do a good job. Choose your best service lines, the jobs that are your core competency, your top money makers. We kind of went over that already. Pick like maybe 2 to 3. And know the extra jobs you can handle, your current capacity. Now, not every lead that comes in deserves the same attention. And so you have perhaps a small septic repair, could be $1,200, and you might make $500 gross profit on that. You might do a drainage type job where that's a $4,500 job, and you net around, say, $2,000 profit, or a septic installs 15 grand, and your gross profit is around 6,000. And so these types of leads are obviously not equal. And in this little instance I'm giving you, you would want to focus your marketing dollars more around the big ticket jobs, because the odds of you making a high return on investment, say for a septic install, is much greater than a septic repair. And so your marketing should hold that weight as well. It should be, that should be the hierarchy, if that makes sense. Here's some questions, to expose whether the agency understands your business. Have you worked with excavation or septic contractors? You could say home service contractors, but in my opinion, that's a little too general, because a roofing business or a plumbing business, they are a home service contractor. So I mean, you're kind of in the same wheelhouse, but ultimately I would recommend you find an agency that specifically works with what you do, your specific services. What leads are they going to try and get you? If they just say, well, you're in excavation, I'm going to get you excavation leads. Or you're in septic, I'm going to get you septic leads. Say, well, what kind of excavation leads? Really pick their brain. How are you going to qualify those leads? How are you going to make sure those leads are in my service area? Oh, we're going to target them. We're going to target those leads in your service area. Okay, there's usually more to it than that. How will we track calls and book jobs? Ultimately, you win when you can take a lead and track that lead to the actual job. That should be the end goal. I'm paying you guys money to market my business. The only reason I'm paying you guys money is to make me money. That's the only reason you would hire an agency, is to put more money back in your pocket than you paid them. And so they should be able to show you that. Now, if you're just cutting checks, if that's how you are, not cutting checks, if your clients are just cutting you checks, if that's how you run your business, then that's going to be a little tricky. That's a foundational issue that you might want to iron out before you hire a marketing agency. If you're already using a billing CRM, such as Service Titan, House Call Pro, Jobber, QuickBooks, there's a bunch of them. But if you bill out your clients like that, then you have the means where a good agency should be able to auto track that back to the actual lead that came in, where it came in. So you have a very clear record of leads to jobs sold. And they should be able to provide you that report of leads to jobs sold. The agency should care what happens after the lead comes in. Just getting leads is like only part of it, right? Because getting people to raise their hand, I mean, that takes some expertise, that takes some finesse to get people to raise their hand. But it's stronger if you can get that person who raised their hand fully qualified, that they want, need, and can afford your services, that they're in your service area, that the job they want is something you actually do, that lead knows the approximate budget for what it is you do at a minimum. This way, you're not on the phone with them and they're like, it's how much? And then it's an instant hang up, right? So that lead needs to be worked. How are they going to work that lead? How's the agency going to work the lead before it gets to you? What are they going to do to move it along? Are they going to book an appointment with that lead? So then there's like a specific time that you call that lead. So in my opinion, they should move it along ideally up into the point where you're just selling the job. So lead, estimate, job, revenue. A good question to ask is, what would make us fire you? See how the agency responds to that question. So the right agency increases value in 4 ways, in my opinion. One is the dream outcome, more profitable septic and excavation jobs for your business. They give you confidence to grow revenue without chaos. They're providing you proof that the marketing's working, tracking of the leads and jobs and revenue, a clear plan of what success looks like 30, 60, 90 days out. And they have relevant experience that it doesn't feel like you're having to train them on your business. They already know your business. Speed. They're able to get you to where you want to go faster than you could do it yourself. And lower effort. They're providing you a system that you can do better on your own with lower effort on your behalf, so you're not just chasing leads. So an example of a bad agency would be something to the effect of, we'll post 3 times per week, a blog or something. Good, we'll build, track, report, and adjust based on sold jobs. The bad one, we'll post blogs relevant to your business 3 times a week to help you get traffic. That's an activity. We'll build, track, report, and adjust based on your sold jobs. That's a result. Some red flags: that they are guessing with your money. They guarantee rankings but cannot explain lead quality. They talk about impressions more than calls. They do not ask about your profit margins or job types, or how the different jobs you do, if you're selling multiple services, how does that look in your overall portfolio? Like if 70% of your business is, say, septic installations and repairs, and their focus is on land clearing, there's a disconnect there. They do not ask, they push every contractor into the same package. They blame the algorithm every time performance is bad. I'm sure you've heard that before. Oh, the Google algorithm just updated and you got slapped. That's why leads are down. That's pointing the finger at external sources. And if an agency doesn't ask you how much a job costs, or how much it is worth to you, how much is a septic install worth to you, then they're just guessing with your money. Some green flags that the agency actually knows what they're doing, that they understand demand in your area. There's 2 types of demand for excavation and septic specifically. There's capturing it, and then there's creating it. Captured demand would be for people already searching for your services. They're looking to buy now. That would be people looking for septic installers near me, excavation contractors near me, land clearing near me. That near me, those high intent style searches are people looking to hire someone. And those are best for using Google ads and search engine optimization, local service ads, and Google business profiles. Demand creation would be getting yourself out there, making people aware of problems. For instance, failing septic system warning signs, moving to the area and you're going to be building soon, drainage problems, these are targeting buyers that are 30 to 60 days out. How you prove their intent and whether or not they're a tire kicker is by then taking them through a form to ask them hard qualifying questions to see if it's worth your time. And that's best for Facebook, YouTube, educational content for SEO. And a business needs both. You need both the people that are looking to buy with, now to within the next 2 weeks, to those that are 30 to 60 days out. So you're building that steady pipeline. So you don't need cheap leads. I know a lot of you have tried or use lead vendors. And, some of them, it can be good in that it keeps your crews busy. But what you really need is profitable leads. So for instance, if we do some math, one install breaks even. If we do, say, septic installs, 3 installs might equal 15,000 gross profit minus $5,000 for marketing. And that's a $10,000 net profit before overhead. So you might have an agency that charges around $2,500 a month. Advertising on different ad platforms is another $2,500. So that's a total of $5,000 per month. You can keep buying $40 leads that never buy. And that's what's expensive, is getting charged for those leads and they never pick up the phone. However, one good $500 lead that has gone through 5 to 7 questions, has already confirmed that they're in your service area, they need to get this done, they've got their design and permit, they have a method of payment, they're willing to start, that's worth it if it turns into a $15,000 job. So the first system should turn attention into booked work. A clear offer, strong landing page, Google Business Profile cleanup, call tracking, review strategy, before and after proof, follow-up scripts, simple weekly reporting. It would be good to ask the agency, what kind of hooks are they going to use? See how they respond. Can they think on their feet? They should already have hooks prepared. They should already have CTAs prepared, right? If they're in your niche. So an example would be call today to schedule a septic or excavation estimate. We'll tell you the next step before you spend $1. That sounds very low pressure, and that's an excellent CTA. Do not buy marketing, buy a system that turns attention into profit. So know your best job type, know your numbers, ask better questions, track book jobs, not vanity metrics. Fire anyone who cannot connect your marketing to revenue. So if you've been with your agency for many months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, and there's not clearly a clear path to attributed revenue, then you're just guessing. You're guessing on where the jobs are coming from without actually knowing. So the right agency will understand your numbers, your best jobs, your service area, your capacity. They'll be able to show you dollar for dollar where your money's going. And that would be some tips that I would recommend. So do you want better calls from your marketing? Are you looking for an actual revenue growth provider or revenue growth partner rather than a provider? You can book a lead flow audit with us by visiting excavationmarketingpros.com. All right. Hopefully you found this little video helpful. Thank you. Bye.
Hey there, excavation pros. If you enjoyed today's podcast, make sure to like and subscribe to our podcast and channel. Leave us your feedback and let us know how we did. And hey, if you're interested in taking your excavation or septic business to the next level online, make sure you visit excavationmarketingpros.com today and take advantage of our free resources and mastermind group for excavation and septic industry professionals.